Hello, hello, I am Rangru,
And I'm Graham.
here today with another 1v1 from the Wargame Bootcamp Discord Elite Bronze matchup. We're on Game 4. It's 2-1 to Krot's favor. We know who's playing. What are they playing, yo?
So today we have Balance here in the blue ring playing as one of my second favorite deck, which is South African Motorized. And on the right we have Krot playing the good old Eurocore General.
Yeah, and South African Moto on this map. I mean, it's really a classic pick. And as we're seeing, we're already seeing a pretty heavy helicopter presence going into Delta. It's only 5, yo. It's only 5 helicopters, so he's good. We're also seeing the Gazelles trying to come in to try to gain some air dominance.
Yeah, he's really trying to get these Orcs up there so he can lock down Alpha and then have a little like motorized push to come in and support it. The betas, I think, are more, as we can see, they're for screening off any maybe potential helo play out of Krot himself to keep them out of Delta. And then from there, I think, you're going to see it's pretty standard for a motorized player rank. Though a Gazelle Cannon has broken through the beta screen and is going straight towards Hotel. And actually, a Cheetah D called out here by Balance to try and engage and keep it from... Yeah, I think it's going to get it there.
Let's get the pick off. And we're also seeing now that Alpha push, like you said, he's getting into that extremely easily here. It's going to be about Revy's Buffaloes, and they are the 85s with the Milan F1. If they can buy enough time with their ATGMs to secure the point.
Yeah, it's a nice... Because typically when you see like helo play, I always think of like the SASF 90, right? Coming out, but no, the Buffalo is going to go and lock it down. They do have the Milan F1, which, I mean, I don't know, Rank. It's not bad for, an infantry squad. They are a Marine unit, so they do... Or not a Marine... Are they a Marine unit?
Shock. So,
Shock.
I know what you're getting at.
Yeah. Right, because they do have the 15 HP. So, it is curious to see how they handle, but there's really nothing crazy coming out from Krot here. Martyr 2s are going to come up, which the Milan will kind of struggle to deal with at, head on.
Yeah, the other reinforcements aren't going to get as well. I guess it's more just deterrence of, oh god, there's long-range ATGMs and going to back off. And apart from that, I mean, the front line is... Yeah, it's really going to all come down to Alpha here. I mean, Krot's playing it pretty slow. He hasn't even gotten to his Alpha point yet, and maybe he's just playing a bit more defensively on purpose because he's expecting the South African rush.
Yeah, that's what I would expect. I mean, we see here, so Buffalo's going to go and expose themselves, hit the empty transport. Nice play there by Krot. You can see these bring these Martyr 2s up, bring a Leopard 2A1. Ooh, the pair of Pathfinders. Oh, it's just an empty transport.
Yeah, it's really just building up those Martyr 2s, as well as 2 Crotals, Leopard 2, more Martyr 2s. Okay. He's definitely just trying to play it slow and steady and not to overexpose himself. The question is real balance, be able to build up enough of a defensive force in Alpha to withstand what will be a big armored push.
Yeah, especially because I think the Martyr 2s, the Buffaloes are going to have a hard time because the Milan F1, while it does have 17 AP, it only has 40% accuracy. So, as we all know with Milans and Milan F2s, they're just really not the most accurate ATGM out there. And the 7 frontal armor of the Martyr 2 is actually really nice in an IFV. Plus Panzergrins, bring up a Leopard 2A1 as well. So a nice little amount of fire support here from Krot. And I imagine, Rain, he's just going to go in all at once. He's going to build up and then just go in and hope that if he breaks Alpha, the game will essentially end.
Yeah, because there's not a whole lot of real anti-tank here from Balance. No. I mean, it's all just Milan F-runs, and they are scary to see come at you, but they're not exactly scary against them, well, the Leopard 2A1.
Yeah, and I'm surprised he brought the SASF and not the 90s. Because the 90s have the Appealist, don't they?
I believe they do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have the Appealist and they have a Stinger, right?
Yeah.
Not a Estrella. So they're significantly better than this base SASF. So maybe there's a reason. Obviously, Balance is a better player than myself, but so maybe there's a reason why he picks them. Could just purely be cost. But I imagine going against Martyr 2s, Leopard 2A1s, they will suffer and not be able to do the same kind of like hitting same firepower, especially with a deck that lacks a lot of anti-tank weaponry to begin with.
Yeah, and Krot as well, also getting the F4 of the AMRAAMs out just to provide some rather than needed air superiority to deal with all the cheaters flying about. But it is, I find this extremely fascinating how he's trying to deal with South Africa by just not attacking, by denying him the engagement and just being fine, trading some space for time, bleeding some points to get what hopefully will happen for him, a decisive blow.
Yeah, because right now it is, nobody's really gained on it's even, right? Because Krot does have 67 points to 5 of balance, but it's really not a real lead right now as they're both taking up positions. And based off just raw territory held, I would say obviously balance is in the better, position for the CV game in acquiring points. But it's not a very strong force ring. I really think it's kind of like a paper tiger here. I almost think like there should have been like a Roycat, maybe the Recon Roycats to help probe and like, prevent maybe those Martyr 2s from being able to access that position so easily, because the pair of Pathfinders have no, ATG, really anti-tank capability whatsoever. And now this Leopard 2A1 is going to push up here. The beta, it's a beta, so it only has the Kukris, doesn't have any of the, I forget the South African ATGM name, but the, the domestic one.
Yep, the fancy one.
Yeah, the fancy, the one that's actually good. But the AP is kind of low on it, if I remember correctly. Like it's not like it's really accurate, I think. But isn't the AP kind of low?
Is pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
Like a big problem in South Africa is you don't have a whole lot of, especially in Moto, like super high anti-tank ATGMs. You really have to maneuver around, use your 105s effectively.
Yeah, I actually really like South African Moto a lot. It's the deck I've played most in ranked in Wargame. That or like Euroko motorized is normally what I like to play for fun. And there are tools available to deal with tanks. You have, especially like as motorized, you do have the Oliphant, the Mark 1, which is actually really good, the 40.1, which is good infantry support. But anyways, we see here the Martyr 2 rolling right up here in these SAF, so you can kind of just see there the engagement where they take them down to 15 quick. The Martyr 2 tanks the shot, so sure it's damaged, but you gotta think with an Apelus, it dies right there. Instead, it might be able to back up and live.
I've seen the Martyr 1 spam as well being brought up. And Krot has really just got a very scary force. It kind of, well, the fortunate thing right now for balance is he is getting an A+4, but he really needed a bigger points bleed earlier. Because as we see before with, Moto play, just want to get the points early. Cheetah D coming in, got the.
Yeah, it wasn't a really good shot there by Cheetah D. That's something interesting if anyone news watching the Cheetah D there. It has an HE. I guess I've seen missile, right? But you can use it on fire positions as HE and use it because it's a pretty decent amount of decent payload size, and it can massacre infantry squads. But right there, you see when it's really accurate, it doesn't. You have to hit. Like he hit some buildings there, but did no real damage to the Commando's para.
Yeah, you got to be bloody dead on. And Krot's done a really good job, at least getting a foothold now into Alpha. And, I mean, his infantry are actually pretty scary compared to the South African runs, which isn't, it's not great here for balance, considering he is the Moto deck. He wants to be running these infantry engagements, but it just comes down to the armor.
Yeah, it's the armor, and it's not necessarily like the tank right ring, it's the IFVs, it's everything else that's kind of attached with it. And I have to think that maybe balance went too heavy for CVs early. I mean, he had this area under at least his control. I think it's way too late in getting infantry reinforcements up here, and the annihilation of the SASF completely exposes that forest line there, and the pair of Pathfinders can't actually support whatsoever because they have no anti-tank capability.
Yeah, and we're just seeing little drips and drabs being brought in from balance, and of course it's a longer supply line, so it's harder for him to get these reinforcements up. Or Krot just has not just, infantry spam, but Panzer Grenadier spam. And of course, they are the cheaper ones, but you don't need Panzerfaust 3s against K-cars.
No, absolutely not. And this is where I think you need Parabats or even the baseline infantry. They're pretty good, but it's more SASF 9. Oh, there they are. So he brings both. I didn't even notice that in his deck. Now that I look on my other monitor, I see, he did that. But I really feel like these should have been the initial call-out. Because now they're going in here, but there's a flood of Panzer Grenadiers in this area. Martyr 2s, Martyr 1s. All it takes is one bad engagement here, and they're all dead.
Yep, it's getting quite risky here now. He still has quite a few helicopters, but the Crow Towers are on standby. They're in pretty good positions to try and blap any silly drone.
Yeah, and Krot's actually been really good with his supplies ring. The Crotal ran out of ammo just a little bit ago. It's already back up there. So, good anticipation by him and understanding, to keep these helicopters at bay. Because one of the few tools that Balance really has, immediately available to him to deal with this push.
And the push is just going really well. It's just the infantry fire support vehicles are giving good infantry fire support. They're not getting blapped. He's using multiple lines. He's spreading his guys out. It's just textbook. Yeah,
this is a textbook push. You see now the MRS coming in at the same time, ASF up top to keep any of the cheetah action from affecting this push. And this fight's actually over. He may hold on to the tail end here, barely, because these balance will against Krot. But, oh, a direct hit there by the M270. Doing some good damage and a lot of stun to the Buffaloes there as the Panzer Grenadiers engage. A bunch of K cars are rolled up here, but he needs to unload them. The Commando pair is going to get an L route. Okay, no. SASF will get in there and get in the building, but he's really now in a toehold rank.
It is not looking great for him at all. I guess the one benefit here, full balance, it does have a huge point advantage.
Oh yeah, massive.
So the worst case is that he can just kind of hold the point and, well, try to do his best in that regard.
Yeah, we see Ratel 20s. I'm not sure. He's probably moving those up to the top there, maybe to kind of like hold that top line for us. The Panzergrins and the Leopard 2 have broken through, though. And the SASF, they're probably going to stay in the town complex, I imagine. So we see Martyr 2s here. What's the Crotal engaging? Oh, it just works. But Fabs are coming up here. Is that Legion? Yeah, that's Legion 90 coming out. And that would paired with the Martyrs is probably... It'd be close enough to win the fight.
Yeah, that should be good enough at this point. It's just a tiny little foothold left. At least he's still got the commander alive, but at this point he'd probably be thinking about commanding the Delta point instead.
Yeah, and he's actually balance buying a CV for Delta. I feel like this is a mistake, Ring. His toehold in Alpha is precarious at best, but it's still retrievable. And if not retrievable, you could at least buy yourself time, lock down Delta and then the town complexes beyond, and you have a lot of points, so that way even if you lose Alpha, like, you're still in a really good spot. Yeah, we see the CV's about to evacuate here. Krot's got more and more troops coming in here. Look at all the look at all the autocannons. This is 20 minutes, man.
Yeah, the modern ones, I mean, they're not BMP ones, of course, but they're still pretty good for just cheap fire support.
Nothing is BMP ones, Green.
No, truly some of the best IFEs in the game.
East German mech, best deck.
The only two best units in the
Legion
game
got
wrapped up in one.
The Legion actually got trashed. I didn't see what engagement happened there. I don't know if they got caught in the open and just kind of like massacred, but yeah, they got absolutely annihilated.
Oh, the
Cheated
CTD
incoming
getting some hits.
What did it blow up though?
I think it blew up an IFE and then catch in time. F4 coming in, gets one.
Yeah, she's going
after the Buck.
Yeah, and the Buck, while it has 4 missiles, and it just got annihilated.
Mirage 2000 as well, coming in clutch. The Eurocorps Air Force working together. That's actually pretty hot.
That was actually pretty hot. F4s and Mirage 2000 at the same time. What is it? War Thunder? ATGM teams here coming out in Ratel 20s with the Milan here for balance. I think he's trying to lock down maybe the town complex up here. We see 30 more Panzer Grenadiers into the town, just base Panzer Grenadier scam. Once again, Rang, it's like balance, you know, an unspec deck, but kind of being played like a mech deck. Just raw infantry spam with mechanized IFE support.
Yeah, it's just working. It's honestly working well, but the time is kind of screwing him over. But at the same time, it's very close for him to... If he breaks past this little alpha point, it's really just the SASF just holding the rest of the line. Like you said, yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing. If he breaks through this right here, there's legitimately... He can... I mean, this Martyr 2 is going to roll down here. It's going to run into a Bootcamp up 90 up there. With the Bootcamp with the heat there, he should, if he can get the snipe, might be able to get the kill on the Martyr there outright. SAF. Wow, they did really well against the Panzergrins in the town.
Yeah.
I mean, they are obviously elite versus shock, but I'm surprised they traded that efficiently.
Yeah, and he did a good micro, keeping him more into the rear of the town rather than exposing him. You know, just like Laboratory 1 is advancing forwards, but shooting backwards to deal with him still. Yeah,
and then some helicopters here coming out for Krot. They might actually... Oh, the Alpha shoots down the Puma right there. That's pretty funny. Autocannon helicopters clashing in the air. Let's see. So SASF will be cleaned up now. You know, Panzer Grenadiers. No prisoners being allowed, Ranger.
No. The push must keep on going. Let's get
now
severe punch into Charlie.
Oh, and he's rolling right up here, the Leopard 2 on the Rattel 20 with the Milan team. That's going to be a minimum range, even if he unloaded it, I think. And then he's trying to drive around the house here. He's like, where's he at? Oh, he sees him. Autocannon hit. Actually did a lot of damage to Leopard 2, but not enough. And he's going to keep pushing forward here. And there are 2 CVs in immediate danger right now.
Yeah, this is quite damaging here to balance position. I mean, he has a huge point advantage, but now it's only a +1. In 24 minutes, that is quite durable to catch up to. It's a guy, he just needs 400 points.
Yeah, but I think the bigger issue here is that there are 3 CV, I mean 2 immediate CVs in danger ring, and then there's nothing around golf either. If these Martyr 1s just keep driving down the road, they could snipe almost every single CV on... Actually, they could kill every single CV on the map. Yeah, they're going.
It's literally nothing.
No, it's broken. The whole front's broken.
Broken arrow.
Yeah, this is 100% broken arrow. Eugen, look away.
Yeah. And there we go. Balance sets an untenable position for him to hold. He's very close to victory in one sense, but nowhere near in the other.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast that fell apart there, because it looked like he had actually was like trading kind of decently in the town there and was going to hold on to it. But once those SASF 90 broke, there was nothing behind that line. And I have to feel like he CV'd up too fast, Ring, which made like the points lead. Sure, it looked threatening, but in reality, Krot just had so much firepower on the map. Eventually, that was just going to fall apart.
Yeah, he really needed, especially holding Alpha, you need a bit more contention between the open areas of the forest. Like have like some Wherethekats here, for example, especially at close range. It's scary against Leopard 2 ones. Just throw a couple of those guys in that can screen off the infantry, and then you can just buy enough. You're not going to hold it for the rest of the match. I mean, not for long. What I mean, because you're playing South African Moto, you're shark, you have to keep moving. Yeah. But I would have played him enough time so he could have just played the War of Attrition throughout the rest of the match.
Yeah, excuse me. I agree with you 100%. Especially the Wherethekats, like even like some Wherethekats 105s paired with like a recon Wherethekats could have played havoc on that initial push there by Krot, right? But there was nothing. There was no anti-tank whatsoever to contest. So literally, just infantry in this armor, IFV's armor would lump it in the same category because a Martyr 2 is basically a tank, right? They roll up into that area, and then by going with the SASF, the base infantry unit there, it's just they really were at a disadvantage. I mean, if it's SAF 90 right there, they might wipe all those martyrs in that first engagement, and then you're starting back from 0 if you're Krot.
I really liked Krot's opener. Yeah, that's like you can really tell these guys are top tier. Because personally, I would, and I think a lot of players would as well. It's just, oh, I'm playing against like a Moto deck, especially South African Moto. I'm gonna try and out Moto them with my regular deck, and then you try to get into head-on engagements early on. And then you get screwed because they can just outmaneuver you. Yes. But he just like, I'm just gonna hold up my little defensive bubble, see where they go, let them like overexert themselves a bit, right? It's like letting your opponent in Total War just kind of run his troops in the middle of the field where you just walk. And in the end, I'm just gonna build up and I'll just hit him with a really big force.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think that it's a problem with motorized decks in general is that they are kind of paper thin, right? And so they really excel when the game's kind of dirty, it's messy, it's flexible. You know, we're fighting over large pieces of space where we can be more maneuverable. When you take your time, force them to fight you in a stand-up position where you're just trading blows, they almost always fall apart. And we even saw there, like even the M270 for Krot did really well in the town fight because it completely panicked all the infantry that was engaged in the Panzer Grenadiers.
Yeah, just bloody effective stuff. And without effective stuff, Krot does win the series 3-1, so he does make himself a third in the tournament. So congratulations.
Yeah, big congrats to both players. It was actually an awesome series of casts. I think it's the first time we've casted an entire series. Like, we just went game 1, game 2, game 3, game 4. And just, you know, if there had been a 5th one, we would have gone to the 5th one just to, you know, kind of play the series out. And so people kind of got to go along the ride with us.
Yeah, we're definitely doing more of these in the future for other tournaments. Because that was a solid series. Like, once again, there's a good reason these guys are some of the top players in Wargame.
Yeah, and it's the nice thing about series action is that a series lets you see the players react to each other, right? You're not just casting one-offs where they're going against each other and it's kind of randomized, almost like, more advanced versions of playing the ranked ladder. Like by a game 4, game 5, you and your opponent have really felt each other out, and now it's starting to get a little weird. And I mean, we kind of saw it with the deck choice by balance. We saw the African Moto, which we haven't casted in probably like 8 months, 9
Yeah,
months.
it's been a while. You guys need to play SA Moto more, for the love of God.
Rangru will pick your games if you have SA Moto.
Yeah, it's like Finish in Steel Division 2.
And that's just gross.
Well, before his cast gets any more violent, do you have anything else to say, Graham?
No, not at all. I'm looking forward to next week. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for watching, and as usual, please just take it easy.